Hello, everybody. My name is Dratnos, and welcome to Mythic Echo of Neltharion here in Aberrus. This was Neltharion's old lab that we're raiding, and so there's an echo of him left behind, like there was Syndragosa in Azure Vault, is basically the lore of this one. And this fight is actually really sweet so far from what they've tested. So phase one starts, and you get this wall pattern that spawns like this, and 3 different people then get targeted by this knockback mechanic, and you basically need to get knocked into a wall to break it open. And then 3 different people get targeted by a mechanic called Volcanic Heart that does huge damage when it expires to anybody in line of sight. So what you want to do, it's about to come out now, right, is 3 people are going to get the shadow debuff, right? And all the walls keep rebuilding throughout this fight as well. Those people with the Rushing Darkness now are all moving to break open different wall sections. And so you can see now we have a lot of different spaces here for the people with the Volcanic Heart to go and line of sight the rest of the raid. 2 people there had to cleave each other, Parson Dippin, you can see, and they have 2 stacks of the dot, but it's not too bad, and they are going to be just fine, and the rest of us don't get any damage, but you do explode the raid, basically, if you're in line of sight of the raid. There's also a tank mechanic on this fight where the boss smashes the tank super hard and also breaks any walls the tank runs into. And then immediately does one of these orange circles. So the idea is to just use that to kind of open the door to the next part of the room and then move the boss through. You could also, in theory, just keep polluting the same room and not moving the boss and defend. There were ways we tested to make this work, but this just seemed to be the easiest way and probably the intended way of doing this mechanic, where you just have one tank get smashed through the wall, the other tank would taunt, spin the boss around, make the next orange circle appear, and then move forward. This was the part of the room where we were like, okay, this is where we're going to do P2, because here comes the intermission. The boss is now destroying the old walls and is going to make a new set of walls in a slightly different pattern. And this is the P2 that basically didn't work during heroic testing, and they changed a lot about it as well. There's no longer class calls. There's just 2 people that are going to get mind-controlled, sort of. They still can play their characters, but they are now hostile to us, and also they can see these things from beyond. And they need to do enough damage to them to break a shield that's on them so that we can all hit them. And you can see they've done it. They've broken that voice from beyond there. Now what's happening here as well, there's still that Volcanic Heart AoE mechanic. But the way that you break the walls here is, in addition to these rushing darknesses that still happen like they did in P1, there's also this tank mechanic called Sever Soul, where the tank goes, or the boss just attacks the tank. Here it is, Sunder Shadow. The boss attacks the tank, leaves their body in place, but knocks their soul out of their body, and then after a couple seconds, just like baseball bat home runs the body into the soul, breaking any walls that are between the soul and the body, and also doing damage to the tank based on the like execute damage if the body is low on health. So you can actually heal the body up to make it so that it won't kill the tank. Or if the tank is pressing defensive, they're usually also fine. But if they were like low when they got their shadow sundered, then it was bad. So the overlaps here started to get really nasty, where it's like, oh, all the walls are rebuilt, and now we have people that are stuck, so we need to use the tank mechanic to break them back out again, right? And okay, now we're killing this next voice from beyond, but we have some people MC'd, so we'll send them ahead to go and like break out the next one. But again, we're still trying to have everybody line of sight the raid here when they're getting the Volcanic Hearts and running through, and it was just so cool. This fight was so cool, the way that all of these different overlaps would happen, because you have the timing of the tank smash, the MCs and breaking out the ads, the shadow triple knockback, and the Volcanic Hearts. And basically this fight was operating in such a way where those were all kind of moving to be at different times relative to each other. And so that was really, really cool. What just wiped us there is the boss throughout this phase starts casting this nuke that does more and more damage each time he casts it. So that one we could probably live with like defensives and a barrier or something. And then we probably need to kill this last thing from beyond and push the boss before the next one. But yeah, you can see here I'm healing my body rather than my spirit so that I took less damage from it connecting with me. Another nice thing about the prop pally is you can just target your body and Word of Glory it. And just so cool. We didn't see P3 at all during our testing. This was our best pull here. Nearly done with P2, but oh my goodness, what an encounter they're cooking up here. There's so much creative stuff with the line of sight there. The walls were sometimes a little bit buggy, a little bit, you'd be surprised by how much or how little got broken by certain people getting knocked in certain places. Obviously, like it was sort of annoying because, like, depending on who got MC'd, right? Melee getting MC'd were more likely to get cleaved down than ranged, who could just go and stand somewhere really far away. And also, like, warlocks and demon hunters that have a lot of self-sustain versus, like, an Evoker. I guess Evokers have a nice button they can press against it, but it depends on what class you're playing, right? If you got targeted, it could be really nasty, and you could not have much to sustain yourself versus being one of the super tanky specs that just doesn't care about randomly getting, starfall damage and random, living flame cleave and stuff hitting you. But anyways, that was Mythic Echo of Neltharion. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I think this fight looks so sweet. It's the second to last boss in the raid, and I'm getting quite hyped for this one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.